So now it's just a quick review of Unit 7. Unit 7 obviously was all about water, and so I hope after talking about water for 3 weeks, you have a more critical view of water. We observed water, or we thought about water as a mixture, and the mixture is dependent on what is defined by what is in it and how much of each thing is in it. So it's defined by its components and the concentrations of those components. So we took some time to review concentrations and try to think hard about, what does parts per million and parts per billion mean when we're talking about solutions. And we also looked at percentages and molarity. Molarity is a real important unit. You don't see it a lot, like for example when they were labeling contaminants and whatnot, but molarity is very, very important in the field of chemistry. So if you're going to go on and take any more chemistry, you really need to know about molarity. It's counting individuals per solution instead of mass per solution. That's the basic difference. Then we looked at we looked carefully at mixtures and this concept that water is the solvent in a mixture. Then we looked at the concept of IMFs, which are intermolecular forces. And we understood that, liquids, the properties of liquids depend on the types of intermolecular forces. And you got to do a fun activity where you took a close look at water, ethanol, and hexane and started trying to formulate, comparing what you see on the macroscopic side of things to what's going on the submicroscopic side of things. So it's just a mental exercise to help you understand that, things aren't just magic, but we can explain the physical characteristics that we see in these different liquids. And then we looked at of solubility, this idea of things going into solution or not, and based on the concept of IMFs, solubility, missed an L. Solubility depends on, can the solvent overcome the existing IMFs in the solute such that it can pull the solute into solution. And so again, we thought about solubility on the microscopic scale, and you should be familiar with the ins and outs of that. We recognize that, because water is polar, that's why it can dissolve all these, what normally exist as solids, as salts. And then we look briefly at, water can't dissolve all salts. It all depends on the strength of the ion-ion forces. Can the water overcome it to pull those different salts into solution? And if the charge is too big, or the atoms are small enough and close enough, the ions, I should say, are small enough and close enough, then they may not be soluble in water. And lastly, we looked at the fact that since water is such a great solvent, that before you can drink water, water needs to be cleaned up. Okay, and we looked at how that can be done using just a standard municipal water treatment facility that a city would have, and other options for people who need to clean up salt water, such as distillation and reverse osmosis. And then there at the very end, we just talked briefly about bottled water, and starting to make, or just think, if you're thinking critically about water, then you're thinking critically about the amount of money that you spend on water. So that's basically it for this unit. Good luck studying. I suggest you just make sure you go over all the problems and do all the problems, and look back through those exercises, those group activities you did in class, and you should be just fine.